Good day, emerging mothers. I am so excited that you all are tuned in today. Listen, I just wanted to, as I usually do, toss some tips and drop some gems to take you throughout the weekend and then until we're back again, of course, on next Thursday. So I hope you all are doing well. And listen, for those of you who are in Houston, I woke up this morning and was heading into the office, and it was dim outside. It was dark. It was feeling a little different this morning. And so then as the day progressed, of course, then it became brighter. The sun came out, and it was just all around amazing. It's dark right now, as you all can see behind me, but it was amazing all throughout the day. And listen, that's what I want to be for each and every one of you all as it pertains to your teens transitioning out of the home. There could be some feelings of, oh my goodness, I'm feeling dim about this. I'm feelings of uncertainty. There could also be some thoughts of ambiguity as it pertains to what are my next steps and what am I going to do next, and what will be some of the decisions I'll be making as my teen is transitioning out of the home. But guess what? There are brighter days, and there are brighter thoughts, and there are brighter actions that you're able to pursue, whether they're inside of the house and about to transition out, or if they've been gone for a while. There are some things that can take place. And I know that if your teens are happy in making wise decisions, then of course you feel overall good in itself. So this is what I want to do. I want to talk to you a little bit today about, preparing them, your teens, as they're transitioning out of the home and then moving towards adulthood, and what that looks like as far as what you can do right now in order to help them. For those teens who are still in the house and they have yet to transition out, what types of, and this is a question for you, what decision making do you involve them in? When maybe a major family decision is being made, do you involve them in it at all? When an issue needs to be resolved, and the issue may not necessarily pertain to them, but it pertains to the family in general. Do you at some point involve them, or do you and the spouse just make it and you all move forward? Which I know that there's some decisions that, of course, those are parental decisions, and you want to make sure that you are moving forward, of course, with your family in a way that, is right for you. But do you involve your teens in some of the decision making, if you will? Because guess what? When you do from time to time, then guess what? That builds up their confidence, and that helps them to know that, okay, I'm being heard. My voice is valuable. And then when they transition out of the home, then guess what? They will have this increased confidence that they're able to make sound decisions, especially if they were faced with a situation or circumstance before they left the home. Then of course their confidence just soars through the roof, that they're even heard. So consider that, please, is involving your teen in some of the decisions, of course, that that are being made for the family. Then listen, secondly, and of course I know that you'll just kind of think through and identify what makes sense in reference to the ones that you want their opinion on, if you will. And this is what I do know, is that when we look at our teens' behavior right now, before they've even transitioned out of the home, and they're more so shy and they're withheld as far as their voice, unwilling to really even engage in decision making as it pertains to the family, or if they are just free to say, you know what, it just doesn't matter. It does, I have really no opinion on this. Then I would pull them even closer in to the decision-making process so that they can begin to feel a little bit more comfortable making decisions. so that, again, when they're out on their own, they'll know and have an opinion, and they will be able to make better, more sound decisions when they're out on their own. So that's number one. Number two, I would encourage us to allow our teens to make mistakes. Do we want them to make mistakes? Absolutely not. So let me just be clear up front. Do we try to shield them from making mistakes? Yes. So do I. And this is an area where I even make sure that I'm taking my own advice. Because when we allow our teens to make mistakes, of course, those mistakes that we have maybe warned them about, and they pursue it anyway, and if they're even in their early 20s or mid 20s or just what have you, or maybe even before then, and they're still in the home, then it's okay, to allow them to feel the discomfort of a mistake. We even still make mistakes now. And when that discomfort is felt, then really, that's really some of life's best teachers, are the discomforts that they feel. And so, do we want really to allow them to make them? Again, we absolutely want them to avoid mistakes. We're imperfect, they're imperfect, and again, that discomfort, that can be one of the best teachers. So I just want to encourage us that, we talk with our teens, and we want them to avoid certain situations and circumstances. Sometimes we're able to, they take our thoughts and our opinions, and sometimes they may not. And so it's okay to allow them to feel that discomfort. Of course, when I say this, of course, as in reference to harming themselves or harming someone else, we want to make sure that help is gotten for that. In the event, they're sick or ill, we do want to encourage, them to help themselves to be better. And we want to help them to be better. So aside from those situations, I'm really referring to those decisions that are made otherwise. And so discomfort is simply that, discomfort. And I want to encourage us, to allow them to learn, which sometimes we have to. Are they in our sight always? Absolutely not. So I just want to let you know it's okay. It's okay. Then also, thirdly, as we're preparing them prior to them transitioning out of the home and moving off to adulthood, let's, as parents, let's avoid saying those things like, I told you this wouldn't work, or I told you this would work, or I told you so. All of those types of sayings could cause there to be or could cause this war to exist in that parent and teen relationship. And so if we're able to just to tweak our wording, even if it means applying a positive spin to it, as opposed to I told you so, or those types of things that we may think, let's sprinkle it with some honey, especially if we may have mentioned it previously and those thoughts were had yet to be embraced. Then let's tweak our wording, because we want that relationship to remain intact, and we want that bond, of course, to prevail. Just a couple of more, just tossing some tips and wanting to help out as we're preparing our teens to transition out of the home. And at some point, I'd even like to do a clip on just those life skills that they ought to know prior to leaving the house. And there are, there are lists of like hundreds of them, of what they ought to know before leaving the home. And you know what? times have changed between, of course, our generation and then our teens' generation. And there's still a lot to learn in reference to some things that they ought to know prior to leaving. So I might even do a recording on that at some point. I might do a live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Listen, our next one, our fourth one, is let's show our teens, if we will, prior to them transition out of the home. Where's the level on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'd love for you all to just drop this in the chat. Where would you say the respect is that you have for your teens? On a scale of 1 to 10, let's just jot that down in the chat, just so I'm able to see that level of respect. Of course, we desire that they respect us, of course, but what about that respect that we show them? When we show them respect as well, just in our communication, in our actions, this encourages them to not only respect themselves more, but also respect others, especially adults. And I'm thinking specifically, as I'm saying adults, I'm thinking about the professors on the college campus, or I'm thinking about if they're heading off to the military base, those officers that are on the base, or, if they're seeking residential independence, it could mean them respecting individuals who are in that leasing office or their neighbors, if you will. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say is the level of respect for your teen? And also, as I'm thinking, this also comes along the same line of, when we respect our teens, then guess what? They really want to, and they desire to share their opinions regarding certain situations and circumstances. Of course, that increases that level of confidence. So when they do transition out of the home, then of course they're feeling better about the decisions that they're making. And the goal and the thought process is that those decisions will move closer towards wisdom. They're practicing wisdom as they are moving forward in their journey of life. So the level of respect, last but not least, and then I'm going to conclude with this, is that when we have those tough conversations with our teens, starting off from when they're in the home, in some of our discussions with our teens, there's anger. We're upset or we're angry about something. Do we conclude those conversations, even those tough conversations, with our teens knowing that we love them? That's so very important. So, even if you're in the middle of the conversation and the conversation is even heated, how about we be transparent in the conversation? So if I'm in a conversation and I know already what that, the discussion that I'm having maybe with my teen, and the real reason I'm angry about it is because I know that eventually I'm thinking about my why. I'm thinking about maybe a decision that was made that can actually be harmful to my teen, and maybe she may not see it right now, but I know that if a behavior continues, then it could actually, in all actuality, cause harm to her and or someone around her. How about we be transparent in that conversation and letting them know that I am angry because, this decision that you made can cause you to, be maneuver within harm's way, or could cause someone around you to think something and take a certain action towards you. And that's why I'm angry, because I love you, and the last thing I want is for you to be harmed. So just in that demonstration, mothers, did you kind of identify how I took a conversation that may have been heated, where anger was prevailed, and then I was able to be transparent with my teen to let her know why it's making me angry, and then to even at the end of that, let her know the last thing I want is for you to be harmed because I love you. So I'm concluding I'm communicating with dialogue, we're dialoguing with diplomacy, but by the same token, I'm opening it up even further as opposed to just talking about the situation. I'm sharing the why behind it. And then I'm expressing my love for my teen behind it. Think about that. The next time you're in a conversation, and it doesn't even have to be heated, but a tough conversation nonetheless with your teen, let's make sure that that love is expressed so that relationship remains intact thereafter. Listen, I'm Dr. Michelle Lloyd, and I am just, again, tossing some tips and dropping some gems so that you are in a better place. So when that teen transitions out of the home, you'll know that they're prepared. Listen, I love you much, and I am praying for each and every one of you, and I know that everything is going to work out. Take care, and until next time, I'll see you. We'll make sure that we post some graphics and possibly some quotes and some other things all along the week so that you're helped out. Take care, appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.